Hey guys, so today's video is going to be another guitar video. I'm pardon my voice, I've been sick for weeks. Just can't seem to clear up. So this is you've seen in a video, a couple of videos back, the Squier Sonic Esquire H Humbucker. It's a really nice guitar. I played it quite a bit, but sometimes the humbucker is just too much for me, and I'm used to playing single coil pickups. And this humbucker is about 8K ohms, so if you split it, in theory, half of it should be about 4, which is still on the weak side. I have a Squier 51 that's got a pickup that reads similar to this, and it still has a decent output when you split it. It sounds simple to do for the most part if you're used to doing it on most guitars. However, for whatever reason, they went with a 2-wire humbucker on this, so there's only 2 wires coming out of it. So we're going to take the whole bridge plate off. You can leave the strings on because it's a top loader. Pull it out, and we got to find should be a little link of wire, and you can actually look in here and see it from the top. So we have to splice into that and feed a wire out where the 2 coils join. Then if you take that wire, and if you short it to ground, it'll turn 1 coil off. And if you put it towards the positive output of the pickup, it'll shut the other coil off. So you have a little bit of flexibility there. Now, generally speaking, the outside coil, or the coil closest to the bridge, is just about useless on its own because you get such a thin sound out of it. But you wouldn't think that a little bit of distance would make much difference in the sound. But at the bridge position, it's a lot more sensitive to the location, so you get much more fuller sound out of this side of the humbucker than you would this side. Now, is it going to sound like a Tele or even a Strat? No, but it's a unique sound. It's still usable, and they usually have like a scoop mid sound to it. Kind of reminds you of a Strat bridge pickup, about the closest that a split humbucker will sound like. So I'm going to try to keep this video as short as possible. This is what you'll need, or at least the way I'm going to do it, is a push-pull pot. This is a 500K, which is the same as what's in it, so it's not going to affect the sound of it. This will be the tone control. Now you can very easily, especially on this, just put a little toggle switch right here. Quite a bit of options you can do on this, the way it's basically a blank switch plate where there's no three-way switch over here. I was originally going to run 4 wires out of the humbucker, make it a 4-wire, and have a 5-way switch to be able to select parallel, both coils on by themselves and out of phase and all that stuff, but you're not going to use none of that. The parallel option will be decent, but to me the half the pickup one is going to be it for me. And most of the time I'm probably going to run it with a full humbucker just because it sounds thicker, almost like a P90. Don't really have a humbucker sound to it to me. If you're doing this on yours and you don't want to take the pickup apart, this will give you a perfect excuse to get another pickup to put in to make sure it's a 4-wire. And you can do all kinds of stuff with it. But this is actually a decent pickup, I think. So I like the sound of it, and I want to leave it alone. I can't leave something alone. I got to modify something. So let's tear into it. I'm going to do most of this off camera and just kind of briefly talk about what we're actually doing. So right now, off camera, we're going to loosen the strings and loosen all the screws on the bridge. That way we can just take that off and look and see what we got to do. And we'll go ahead and take the control plate off too. It's funny how you notice something like, look how pretty the wood grain is on this fingerboard. This is a 1-piece neck too. So one little tip I was going to give you. Anytime you take the string tension off and you got to take the neck off or bridge or what have you, always put a capo like right here at the first fret. That way it keeps the strings intact. Down here you're not fighting with them getting all tangled up or coming off the keys or anything. Alright, the control plate removed. You see the very simple wiring. And looks like we may have a slight issue. It's not routed right there for some reason. Right where the tone control is going to be going. Let me figure out what I got to do about that. I might just make it on the volume control. It's not that big of a deal to me. Make sure it is going to fit though. It should. Oh yeah. Alright, so you got 5 screws. There's one hidden in between the saddles too. So take this out. And, well, that's really clean routing. I thought it was going to be easier to get to than that, but I may have to actually take the pickup off as bad as I'm hating to. I'd better keep it on the plate, but we'll see. So with the humbucker removed, you can see the wire that we need to get to. That little piece of white wire there. We got to splice into that. You don't necessarily have to cut it if you had a way to strip the wire. Also wanted to note, this is what I was originally going to do with this guitar, is put a Surf 90 in it. This is from Guitar Fetish, and it will fit in the bridge, and actually looks pretty nice in there. So if this don't work, I can't do it, or if I don't like the way it sounds, we know that's going to fit, and we're going to put that in it. And I'll put it in like this with the coil towards the neck instead of towards the bridge to get the fullest sound I can out of it. Alright, so it's not the white wire. It's fooled me before on another pickup I did this to. It's actually this little black wire. It's kind of hard to see, but it comes out on one coil, solders to the other wire, and goes back into the other coil. So I just barely pulled on it and the tape came off of it. So you just gotta solder a wire onto this and run it back out, like where your green wire comes out here. And you see the tape removed. This is just pickup coil tape, is all this is called. And it's just a real sticky tape, and you just gotta get it started, and you can take it off and get to everything. You can take them 4 screws out and actually take the pickup apart, but you usually don't have to do that. So let me verify before I cut into anything, and we'll see what we get. Alright, so I was getting 4.5 ohms to ground off of that, which is reading this side of the coil. So if you look, you can trace this white wire out coming out of this coil here, and it ties straight to ground right there. So if you take this and shunt it to ground, it'll cancel this coil off and you'll just have this one. So that's what we got to do. So the red wire is tied into the 2 black wires, and I'm going to check everything before I close it up. But you want to get this tucked in the best you can, just so it don't hit nothing, and get the tape back on. Alright, so this is kind of the in-between. We got the old pot unsoldered and the new one on. The wires that hook to it directly are going to be the same. So you just got to pretty much transfer all your wires over to do the same function as a volume pot. Then you're left with the modification, which is going to be pretty simple. We'll look at it here in a minute when I get to that point. I'm just going to go ahead and transfer everything over to the volume pot. So the red and white wire, the red wire goes over to the tone control. The white wire is hot from the pickup. This white wire coming out of the gray wire goes to the output jack. All the grounds are now tying together here and ties into the pot here. Another jumper comes up, ties to the bottom terminal of the switch. In the middle terminal, the new red wire from the pickup that we just put on comes there. So that way when the knob's pulled this way, the red wire goes to ground. And it shorts out this side of the pickup. Alright, I'm going to do a real quick sound sample on this. So now we're going to push-pull here that cuts the coil to the neck side of the humbucker. You can hear just a little bit of hum from it. And no hum. Any hum you hear there is from the reverb channel. It's a Hot Rod Deluxe. So it is a pretty big change in sound and tone. Still not as usable as like a single coil tele pickup would be on here, but still a very good sound. It's the same. So here's the full humbucker. Coil split to this coil. It's a much thinner sound. To me it sounds more like a Strat bridge pickup, but a little bit thinner than that because it's 500K pots. So if you roll the tone down just a little bit, takes that ice pick off just a little bit. But I like it, it's a real good sound. You can definitely hear that humbucker bite when it's in the full humbucker mode. I got the amp set pretty bright as well. But yeah, it's definitely a usable sound. There's honestly not much hum from it either. A lot of times you'll split one of these and you get a lot of hum. I think where it's got the bridge plate acts like a shielding almost. Yeah, I might keep this setup. If I end up not liking this, I'll put the Surf 90 pickup in it. Alright, so we now have a 2-sound Esquire. Got 2 different sounds out of it. Alright guys, that's about it. We'll go ahead and end this video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing if you did. If I ever do anything else to it, there'll definitely be another video. But for right now, I'm going to leave it alone. I call it semi-stock, semi-modified. Same pickup, just took it apart and changed something. Thanks for watching guys. We'll catch you on the next one.